you to...
In this episode, we are going to look at Flutter.
Okay, in this episode we are going to be trying out some Flutter stuff, and I'm going to be showing you what it means to start developing a new app and how I think about it.
Yes.
We
We are going to make a couple, maybe one or two little apps.
Yeah, we're gonna try some easier stuff for the beginning so that Kaupo gets a little understanding of what Flutter is.
Yeah.
And then maybe he will like it, and if he won't, then he's gonna suffer and do it anyway.
Yes.
Okay, since we're gonna be using Flutter, we're going to be using material design. It's pretty much the design guidelines that Google uses for all of their applications. You can review the guidelines on a page called material.io. And if you go here, there is a tab for designing stuff. So you get like all of these typefaces, so you can have all of the fonts. Okay, so there's gonna be various fonts in each application. You have, let's say, 30 screens. It would be good to just use like 7 or 6 different font sizes if possible. Microsoft Word, you know. There's headline 1, headline 2. You wanna have sort of like the same system. Then there are these icons. This is a big part of material design, that everything is simple as possible so that it is very easily usable on the mobile devices. Then you have the colors. The color system is a big part of material design, meaning that everything is very beautifully fit together. If you choose like to use blue or something, then it changes very smoothly and everything is flat. What I mean by that is you don't have anything that is trying to like pop towards you. It's always like on the same level. So this is how the design part works. And if you are using Flutter, it's all built in. Now if you go into components, then you can look at all of the components that it uses. So if you want to like know anything about the app bars, or you want to know something about checkboxes here, or sliders or whatever, then you have all of the information here. And now if we go on develop, you can see that there is a whole section for Android, and then there's also a section here for Flutter. You can click on components, and now here you have all of the components that you can use also, but you have more information about how to actually use them in Flutter. So you have all of the documentation about the like component that you want to look up on, and also there are samples and tutorials. So yeah, the cookbook I think is the one. So if you want to like see how something's done, they have like all of these very easy tutorials here. If you want like animations or something. So that's how usually you have to go about documentation. So if you want to find how they would say that you need to do it, then the simpler use cases are here, and the documentation, which has like each and every method for every component, is, if we go back a little bit, right here. Then usually what I do is I try and think about how I want the app to look like. So just looking at these, you would think that the whole application we're making is going to be purple or something, because everything here is purple, but that's not usually the case, because you just want your own like special kind of design. If I'm doing like a project by myself, then I go on this page called App Labs. And on this page you can try and find some sorts of templates that what your app could look like. We're going to have to think about our application. Let's say that the one that we're doing in the future is going to be a gifts application. So I'm going to type in gift, and you can already see that there are some sorts of templates for Christmas gifts or gift card mobile app. Okay, this one looks fairly simple and would be a good one to do maybe. Yeah, so pretty much an okay design. You can see already that he's using the same components that the Flutter framework provides. So this is a navigation drawer, and well, the rest is just regular layout stuff, so an icon and some image views or something. So this is how I would usually go about it, just so you know. We're not going to be taking any designs yet, but it's like a good place to start and to know how to do it. I think what we could do next is try and create a new project in Flutter. So I'm going to let you take over now. And let's start searching some stuff. Look for widget. So that's why they call all of them widgets. It's just like some sort of thing that you can put somewhere. Okay?
Okay.
So Flutter is kind of simple, kind of not. So it has two sorts of widgets. That's how you can categorize them. There is a stateless widget. You can try looking that up. Stateless, yeah. So let's just read it here. So it describes a part of the user interface by building a constellation of other widgets that describe the user interface more concretely. Now that sounds like yeah, if you want someone to quit programming, that's what you say right there. Yeah, this one. This is what it actually is. Stateless widgets are useful when the part of the user interface you are describing does not depend on anything other than the configuration information in the object itself and the build context in which the widget is inflated. So what it essentially means is a stateless widget doesn't have anything inside of it. It doesn't need to keep any state. So I'll give you an example of a stateless widget. This Coca-Cola text here is
Sponsor.
Yes, we are sponsored by Coca-Cola on this little screen down there. So to give you like an example, so any sort of text is a stateless widget if you don't want to change it. But if you do want to change it, let's say that you want to have some logic inside of this widget, and you want to like say that when 5 seconds pass, I want this text here to change into Fanta, and then when 5 seconds pass again, I want it to be Sprite, and so on and so on. Then it becomes a stateful widget. Okay, so let's look at what a stateful widget is. Pretty much stateless means that it just has some sort of value, and stateful means that the widget itself, which could be, let's say, a label, its value can change. It's a little bit different than in Android. In Android you didn't have this because what you did have is just like an edit text, you can change it anytime, a text view, you can change it anytime, and so on and so on. You can do the same here, but you can even change the value of a stateless widget anytime, but you can't do it internally. You have to do it from the outside, then it changes. You'll see, it'll make sense. So to this say, you've always done Android applications, right?
Yeah.
You want to try doing iOS one this time?
No.
Okay. We're still gonna have you do the iOS. So look in the center top there, there's this no devices thing, right? Click on that and click on open iOS simulator. Alright, so this is an iPhone simulator, and if you want to run, then open the Android stuff again and click on run of the application. So each time you make a new Flutter app, it provides you with this simple sample app. Okay, so there we go. That's the sample Flutter application.
Let's click the button.
Yeah, you will essentially become a iPhone developer now. Anyway, the thing is that Flutter is a simple way to make applications for both platforms. What it does is it still compiles into two native applications. So what's happened here is, if you look at the first project here, you can see that we have the iOS folder here, we have the Android folder here, and these, see the app and all of that, this looks exactly like a regular Android project, right?
Yeah.
And then the lib folder here is where our code is. This is where we write our code that Flutter builds into the two applications that we need. And essentially, so what's going on is it's just another layer on top of our Android and iPhone layer that is just delegating what is going to be built. Now let's look at the code a little bit. You can see that everything is a widget. So in Android you would have a application class which would extend an application class. Here it's a widget. Let's say the home page. In Android this would probably be an activity, but here it's also just a widget. Okay, just look at the code and read through it. And I suggest to just start looking at it this way, that if you remember like those basic coding exercises that you did, then it always starts with a main function, right?
Yeah.
So here on the top, see you have a main function. See?
Yes.
And then what you should do is hold down the command key, it's the one next to space, and then just start clicking on code. Like, let's look at the first line, the void main one. Okay, so you have run app, okay? So that is a function that runs the app. So what's the app? It's the my app. And then where does that go? Click on it. So that's the my app, that's what we are running. So the run app is just a function that is given to us by Flutter, and then we want to run our app. Now start looking at the my app one.
What does this title mean? Where's it in our app?
So click on the title part there, not the command, just like put your cursor there. Hit Command P. Okay, so these are all of the things that you can use here, and just to make things more readable, you can say that you wanna say what the title is or what the theme is. So that's why you can say that title is Flutter demo. Okay, but well, you can click on it now with command, like just on the title there, you click on it. Then always when you're trying to override something, then you can see what this parameter does. So this is what the title means, a one-line description used by the device to identify the app for the user. So the next line, it's theme data. They put some comments here. So Flutter is made to be like very easy to learn, so they're actually giving instructions on what you could try here.
Where do I put Flutter run? How to do that?
First do the thing that he's saying.
Try running your application with Flutter.
Yeah, that's done. It's already running. It's right
Where?
there below the
Oh,
comment.
okay.
Okay. This one. So click that. Now open the emulator
Pom.
quickly.
Pom.
So as you see, it took you a whole long time to run the application before, right?
Yeah.
But Flutter is super fast when it comes to just changing like some little elements. You can do a hot reload, that's what like this feature is called. And if you're just like creating a new layout or something, it's super fast. Okay, let's go on. Let's go look at the home. Click on home. The home is the first screen that is shown. So you could have like 100 screens, but the home is the first one where you land when the application loads. Okay? Let's go back. And now you see that the home, it takes in another widget. So pretty much what it means is your application is a widget, and then the screen is also a widget. So open up the home page thing. Here we see that it's a stateful widget, which means that it's a little bit different than the one that you had up top, because if you look at the stateless widget, this is the application, then you see that it has just one method that you need to override, which is the build function. You can't create the stateless widget without overriding the build function. You need to give some information as to what you want to actually create. So here he's like said that he wants to do a material app. Now if you go scroll down, the home page is a stateful widget, which when you do that, then you have to override the create state method at the bottom there. So in this one, you pretty much give it some parameters and you can override some methods. Let's say for instance create state, okay? But actually what the state looks like is defined in the next class, which is the my home page state. Now the first thing that you have to always look at when you look at a class are the overridden methods. So I would go at the build function first. It's just another whole bunch of comments that just want to make you quit programming. But so what it's saying is that each time the set state is called, so the set state in this instance, if you want to know what it is you can do Command F and look for set state. So that's one place that set state is being called at the moment. So what that means is each time that this increment counter method is called, then the view is rebuilt and some sort of new state is given to it. In this case, it's that when the view loads, when this view loads, right, then it starts with 0, okay? Now once you press it, then it looks just like this number is changing, but actually this whole view is being redrawn each time, okay? Because this set state method is called, if you look at the build function here, then how Flutter works is first you tell what sort of view you want to render in this my home page. Okay, it's a scaffold. It's pretty much like this sort of canvas where you can put all sorts of different views, and then you want there to be an app bar. It's going to start going from top to bottom. Okay, the app bar is this guy up here. Then inside the app bar you're just going to say that I want the title to be a text, and it's going to be the title that was passed in here. I think you pass it in right here, so you can use this down here also, because you say widget.title. Say that I want there also to be a body. I want the body to be in the center. So it's very logical to read, think about it. It just takes a little bit of time. And then you want the center. When you say center, it just puts anything you put inside it in the center of the screen. And I want the center to have a child or a column. So a column means anything, like any sort of views that are going to be below one another, one by one. Think of like an Excel table. It's just like going one by one, below each other. And then you're gonna say that you want the column to be in the center, and then you give it a text. You have pushed the button this many times. This is the text here, and then after that you put in another text with the counter. So this is this one here, and the counter starts from 0 and keeps on incrementing. And then you also give it like some sort of style, and here it's just saying that I want it to look like some sort of large text. So this, like I said, material design, so you can use all of these predefined styles and stuff, but you just have to know where to look, and usually you do that by googling or looking around the material design webpage. Next, once we're done with the center, see we went all the way down here, we got out of the body, and now we're going to need another element here. So it's saying that I want a floating action button, because we started from top, remember? We did this one, we did these guys, and now we're here. Now we're saying we want a floating action button. Well, it's just like, it looks like it's floating, right? Because it has like the shadow a little bit, and a little bit on top. And then you say on pressed, it's going to increment the counter, and it also gives it the icon. So there are all of these like little things that you can override. And then when we look at increment counter, then you see that here, once it's pressed, it's like the on-click listener. It says set state, and then also adds to the counter. Now what happens is, it's going to add the counter. Let's say we start at 0. It does this part before redrawing the view. So it's going to say that the counter is 1, and then it's going to do all of this again.
Yeah.
But this time, this guy is going to be 1.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. Yeah. So that's a simple explanation of how Flutter works, but as you know, things will get way more complicated.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah. Anyway, another cringe session is done. Let's continue next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Subscribe, bitches.